Hello, friends, and welcome to our end of the year retrospective. I'm going to be hosting the show on my own today to give Carmela a little more time to finish up all of her end of the year baking, but we're going to focus on the highlights and lowlights from the year and have a little fun while we're at it. So consider this our audio Spotify Wrapped for the Wine Pair Podcast 2024. Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and I am doing double duty today by filling in for my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela. Okay, a quick orientation for those of you who may be new to the podcast. In each episode, what we usually do is explore a different wine varietal or blend or style of winemaking or winemaking area of the world, like Priorat from Spain, or Tannat from Uruguay, or Gava de Gavi from Italy. And we dive into how you can make great choices that aren't the typical wines you find everywhere, like Cabernet Sauvignon and Chardonnay from California. We want you to have some fun while you learn about new wines, and so our goal is to help you expand your wine knowledge in an entertaining way that's understandable and accessible to regular people, not just wine nerds like us. We also usually taste and review 2 to 3 wines under $20 each and share our scores and recommendations to help you find great wines without breaking the bank. This week, we're going to share the best and worst wines we drank this year on the show. So thank you very much for joining us, and we are proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent, chatty, and entertaining. Okay, friends, don't worry, you're not going to have to listen to me host by myself the whole time. What I'm going to do is share with you our top and bottom 10 wines of the year, and then play sound bites from each tasting. Little sound bites, not the whole thing, little sound bites. We actually tasted and reviewed over 105 wines this year on the podcast, and our average combined rating was 6.5 points on a 10-point scale. And incidentally, each of us averaged that score as well, so we were very consistent, and that seems fair, that's 6.5. And just as a reminder, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points when we rate, although our combined scores together can include halves. Like, for instance, if I give a wine an 8 score and Carmela gives it a 7, the average score is 7.5. So out of those 105 or so wines, exactly 10 had at least one score of 4, and so we'll run through those wines in a minute. But there are going to be some on there that really may surprise you. The harder to choose from were the top 10 wines, because we had 16 wines that scored at least an average of 8 from the two of us. And so I had to make some choices on which ones made the cut and which ones didn't. To round out our top 10, I wanted to make sure we had a decent representation of different types of wines and wine regions. And so just to be fair, we'll list all 16 in our show notes. I will also say that, different from last year, 3 of our top 4 wines were sparkling wines, which I didn't expect, although Carmela and I love sparkling wine. And one of our very top wines was a rosato, or rosé wine. And in fact, 2 of the top 10 were rosé. I mentioned this last year, but I think our rating scale is a little more honest and unique because we tell you both the wines we like and the ones we don't like. Most reviewers and podcasts and journalists only tell you the wines they like or that they score highly, but that's really only half the story. We want to share with you the wines we think you should avoid just as much as we want to share with you the wines that we think are great and that you should try. And in our show notes, again, I will have a list of all the wines that we tasted and reviewed this year, including all of our 7s and above, which are wines that we think you should buy, and just everything that we rated in the scores that we gave them. So that'll be fun that you have it all in one place, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, I have to do our shameless plug. So thank you for listening to us and for supporting the show. And if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, we would love it if you would subscribe or follow our podcast. It's a free way to support us, and thank you to all of you who have already done that. And another great way to support us is to leave a nice 5-star rating and review. You can do that on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or other podcast service. Thank you again for those of you who have done that. And you can also follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying to some weird AI pictures that I often make on Instagram at the Wine Pair Podcast. We're also on Blue Sky if you're curious, and we post differently on there than we do on Instagram. And you can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can sign up for our email newsletter there and get news and food and wine pairing ideas and all sorts of fun stuff. And if you send me a note at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com with your mailing address, your physical mailing address, I will send you some Wine Pair podcast stickers for free. Kind of fun. And we want to make content that you care about and you like. So send us a note and tell us what you like, what you don't like, if there are wines you want us to try or winemaking areas, the world you're curious about, and we will take care of it. And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should tell about the Wine Pair podcast because word of mouth is so important for growing our listeners. And this week, we want you to tell anyone who may need a little intro into the Wine Pair podcast because this should be a fun episode. At least give them a little bit of flavor. So to get this kicked off, I'm going to start out with our top 10 worst rated wines for 2024, starting with the best of the worst. Interestingly enough, 7 of the bottom 10 were red wines, and the average price of the worst wines was $11.39. 8 of the bottom 10 were from California, which shouldn't be a huge surprise. We do a lot of wines from California, obviously, and there is a lot of wine made in California, but we tend not to love California wines. And then 2 were from South Africa, which is interesting as well. So here we go. At number 10, bottom 10, from episode 148, which is pretty recent, is the 2023 Spire Seaward Chenin Blanc, which we gave an average score of 4.5 to. Take another sip and then tell me what your rating is going to be.
I am going to give it,
Be honest.
I know.
Give
I think
it a real
I'm
rating.
really feeling like I would give it a 4. I don't think I would finish it.
Okay. I'm giving it a 5. I'm not going to buy it, but I would drink it. I think I'd drink it. Okay. The aftertaste, that gluey aftertaste, is kind of making me feel a little bit weird about it. Mm-hmm. But you know, I could drink this wine.
Okay. You're open to that.
Okay, and number 9 is the 2022 Kirkland Signature Napa Valley Red Blend from episode 144, which we also gave a 4.5 score to.
Are you getting the spice on it?
Not as much. I mean, it's super sweet. I feel like I just opened up a can of jam and took a nice spoonful.
Okay.
But I don't want that.
You want to pour this on your toast?
No, I don't want to pour it on my toes.
How about for breakfast?
No, I don't want wine for breakfast.
Okay. What else?
But it is over. I mean, this is a ripe, fruit-forward, jammy wine. It is not the type of wine that I generally like.
No, this is definitely like a meal.
Yeah,
a meal on a glass.
It's a cocktail wine. It really is.
Yeah.
At number 8 was an unsurprising wine, if you know anything about our podcast. It was the 2022 Josh Sellers Central Coast Pinot Noir from episode 109 called Josh Wines Are Meh. And this is our last wine with a rating of above 4 at 4.5.
I'm going to give it... Gosh. It's tough. I'm bordering on a 4, but I think I can give it a 5.
Okay. I'm bordering on a 3.
Ooh.
I'm really tempted to give it a 3.
Pinot is your thing.
I know. So I feel like I'm over judging it. I'm going to give it a 4. It's not atrocious. It's not the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Offensive.
It's just, but it's just not good. It's not good. It's kind of like hurting my stomach a little bit. Super acidic.
And maybe your pride.
Hurting my pride, hurting my feelings. Josh, you hurt my feelings.
Oh.
Now we're going to get right into the really sucky wines. The number 7 worst wine of 2024 with a combined score of 4 is the 2022 Bread and Butter Cabernet Sauvignon from episode 143, Are Bread and Butter Wines Good? And this, by the way, is not the only wine from Bread and Butter in this bottom 10 list. Little spoiler alert. I think to go back to what you were saying, it feels or tastes like a wine that's been left out too long. Like this is when you go to a restaurant and you can tell that they don't serve a lot of wine because they pull out the red wine because they only say red wine. And you know at that point that it's Cabernet Sauvignon and it's probably been open for a day. You know, it was like open overnight and they don't, and this is what it tastes like. It's not quite shit, but it's not very good, and I don't want another glass.
Yeah.
What rating would you give this wine?
Well, I think that I'm almost in like your Chardonnay camp. Like I could probably give it close to a 3.
Wow.
I'm just not going to finish it. As much as I've had like little sips and trying it now, I think I'll give it a 3.
The next worst wine of the year, coming in at number 6, is the 2022 Trader Joe's Grand Reserve GSM Santa Barbara County Lot 132 from episode 132 called Are Trader Joe's Grand Reserve Wines Good? And this one wasn't good. We gave this one a collective score of 4. Yeah, to me, this tastes like one of those wines where people are like, do you want a red wine? What'd you get? I don't know. I got a red wine blend. And then you end up with something like that. It's starting to hurt my guts.
Oh, I'm worried. Guys, we don't. Okay,
it's so acidic. It's very like, it's like acidic, but like acidic in a way that makes me feel like a hole is burning through my stomach.
Yeah, it's a little bit, actually.
To my gulo.
It is a little bit hot.
A little hot. Well, it is young, but it's 14.9%
That's what I mean.
alcohol.
It is a little bit burning sensation.
My eyes are getting a little less dilated.
Yeah, they're just shrinking now.
I don't know. I think that wine like kind of popped them out.
Can you read this yet?
I didn't know. Anyway, what rating are you going to give this wine?
I'm kind of feeling like I'm going, maybe a 5.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm not quite a 4, but I do actually think we're going to pour it down the sink.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
You know what? I'm giving it a 4. I'm giving it a 4. We're halfway through the list of the worst wines of 2024, and coming in at number 5 from the episode WTF is Pinotage, which was episode 111, is the 2021 Lieveland Pinotage, which we also gave a collective score of 4 to.
I would find a way to get rid of this.
I don't know why. I feel like I should be giving it a 4. But I just don't. I won't. I don't know why I won't.
Maybe because of Carol.
I don't. Maybe it's Carol.
Unless this is like a joke, and Carol's like,
Carol might be effing with us.
She might be like,
Carol.
How did you even give it a 4?
Why would you do this to us,
She
Carol?
might be wondering why we even are giving it a 4.
No, I don't. I don't know. I really feel like I should be giving it a 4, but I won't. I don't know why. Because it's not killing me. It's not killing me. It's not like, ugh.
I don't know.
I would not buy it.
Well, no, and I just kind of feel like even at drinking it at a party, I think I would set it aside.
Well, here's the other thing why I should give it a 4. I'm not going to drink it tonight. Like, I'm not going to drink it after this. No. I'm not going to continue to drink it.
Are you going to pour it down the sink?
Yes.
Okay, so that's telling
I
you
know
something.
I should give it a 4, but I don't know why. Let me think about it.
Okay,
Let's try this coffee one, and then
I'm curious about the coffee one.
And I want to try the first one again.
Okay.
I've just been out for a while, and then I'm going to give my final rating on all these. Okay. The number 4 worst wine of the year came from episode 116, which was called Wallet Friendly Wine Reviews. And this is not the last wine from this episode, by the way. This wine is the Beringer Main and Vine American Cabernet Sauvignon, and it had no vintage or year, which is a sure sign that a red wine is going to be crap. This one got a combined score of 3.5. I feel like my guts are starting to hurt a little bit.
I know. I'm feeling the same way. What is wrong with us?
I don't know, but it's kind of like searing a hole through my stomach.
If we just fall off of this and that's
if we die, listen, here's the first thing you're going to know. If we die during this podcast, we probably didn't die because I would have to go back and edit it. But
true.
But call the cops because we might be dead for days.
Well, can you edit it first and then...
I might die after. It might be lingering. I mean, if it burns a hole into your stomach, you could die you could be dying for days. Now. You could be dying for days.
Oh God.
Okay. But I'm going to try it again just because it's one of those things where it's like, did I really taste that? Mm-hmm. It's like when you smell something you really shouldn't smell, it smells terrible and you keep smelling it. I'm going to keep tasting this.
Right. And you just want to give it a good chance.
You know what I keep thinking? Nerds. You know the candy Nerds?
Oh, wow.
It tastes like Nerds to me. Like with Nerds plus a little bit of
like
metal.
A sour.
Super sour.
Yeah, it's sort of a sour, not even just tart, kind of sour.
For our third worst wine of the year, we are back to the bread and butter wines. So they're not very good, by the way. And same episode again, episode 143. And this is the 2022 Bread and Butter California Chardonnay, which got a combined score of 3. I feel like it's butter popcorn. Like that's what I feel like I'm drinking.
It feels a little... this is going to be kind of harsh, but tastes a little cheap to me.
It does taste cheap.
I don't know what that even means, but it just is.
I think you can get better $14 Chardonnays.
Yeah, and I think so too. I think there have been Chardonnays that we've enjoyed that are way better than this.
Yeah. What would you eat? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I mean I'm just thinking it definitely it almost tastes like
aftertaste. It's kind of gnarly.
Well, and the aftertaste reminds me of like a bottle of wine you had 2 or 3 nights ago.
Yeah,
that you like go, ooh, maybe I should just cook with this, or maybe
you shouldn't cook with bad wine. You should just pour it down the sink.
True, but yeah, it's something that you may open and taste and go, I don't think this is good anymore.
Oof. Our second worst wine of the year comes from Trader Joe's and is the 2022 Charles Shaw Sauvignon Blanc and came from another wallet-friendly wine review episode. This time it was episode 140 and was focused specifically on Sauvignon Blanc. This wine also got a combined score of 3.
Whoa. You don't like it.
It's just not smooth. I mean, it's like I felt like I started drinking an apple pie, like the whole pie,
it's
like
thick.
in a glass,
it's kind of thick.
Like somebody put an apple pie in a blender and just like made me drink it. It's super like,
yeah. There's something about the syrupy. It doesn't have that refreshing. Oh boy, he doesn't like it. If you could see his face now,
it's got a real strong aftertaste. It's got a kind of a gluey, like, you know what it kind of tastes like on the aftertaste? I'm not even joking. You know when you lick an envelope?
Ooh.
You know when you lick an envelope and you have that glue taste afterwards? That's what I'm tasting on the aftertaste.
Sticking around. It's not, yeah.
Literally.
It is, or like a stamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that gluey, strange, like, or like if you, I don't know, you lick something you're not supposed to lick.
Yeah, and it tastes like an
whatever that means.
I don't know. Have you been licking things that you're not supposed to lick, Carmela?
I don't know.
And now, the very worst wine we tasted in 2024. It was the Bay Bridge Vineyards American Cabernet Sauvignon. Also, does not have a vintage. This came from episode 116, which again was called Wallet Friendly Wine Reviews. And this wine received a combined score of 1.5. This is very rare. I gave it a 1, and I think it may be the worst rating I've ever given a wine on our podcast. And for this one, we're going to give you the whole tasting. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our next wine, inexpensive wine. This is the Bay Bridge Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon. It's also from California. This is a non-vintage. They don't put the year on it. It was also $3.99 at QFC, which again is a Kroger store. It's 13% alcohol, which is more than the Charles Shaw, but still not a lot of alcohol. It's Cabernet Sauvignon, and tastings.com gave it an 85. And what are you smelling?
Okay, so this is similar, but it definitely is smoky.
No, I mean, I got perfume.
Oh,
the first thing I smelled was like old lady perfume.
Oh, wow. So you're getting a lot of like
flowery,
rosy, but more perfumey.
Perfumey, like alcohol-y, like astringent kind of smell, like potpourri that you smell, the potpourri spray that you smell, that you spray in the bathroom after somebody's pooped.
Oh, great.
That's what it smells like to me. It's very flowery.
Okay.
When I swirl it, I'm getting vegetal, like that kind of really earthy vegetal smell.
I am getting a little bit of smoke, and you're looking like you're not as
It's
pleased.
just super potpourri, super perfumey. If I'm getting fruit, it's again sort of these crunchy red fruits, but it's like maybe a really underripe plum or something. It just has a stronger, different, like it doesn't smell like wine to me. It just smells like perfume.
Okay. Are you worried about drinking it?
A little bit. A little bit.
Okay.
But we're going to try it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Ugh. Yeah.
Ooh.
No.
This is like...
No.
No, it's
no.
not. No. This,
no.
Oh, boy.
Shit.
He's hardly standing. Oh, no, he's sitting. No, this is the deal with this wine. This reminds me of like wine you get from the old pizza place. You know, like just some little weird.
And they serve it in like a plastic
wine.
cup.
Yeah. Ooh. And it says, it's like, you want the red or the white? This is the red. And you don't.
It's so perfumed. Don't you think it's perfumey?
Yeah, but it's just, no, I think it's almost kind of vinegary.
Oh, it's really not good.
I mean, it is a little like, biting into some like flower petals or something.
Oh, I just feel like I took, it's got a really bad taste. It's super tart, but it's like you took that potpourri spray. You know, sometimes you spray the potpourri spray too much and it goes into your mouth.
So
and you're
gross.
like, that's what that tastes like. It doesn't have any depth to it. It's super insipid. It's gross. It's a gross.
Oh, wow. You should see it. He is just raging
The
over
Charles
here.
Shaw is so much better.
So much better. Like, I don't even want another sip of this one.
This is a pour down the sink. I'm sorry.
I don't think
this
we're
is
going to
terrible.
have it. I don't.
What would you eat with this wine?
I wouldn't. Would you?
No.
I wouldn't drink this wine.
I would. This is one of those where I would be at a party and I would like back away and see if I could pour it into the bushes.
I wouldn't even offer it to somebody.
No, but I would, like, if I took it, I would be like, I would have to be careful not to make that face that I've been making.
You've been making it.
And then just like, because I feel like I want to scrape my tongue.
Oh, God.
It's so
like
bad.
Like a little kid.
Oh.
No, it's not. It's a very different wine than that first one. Than the Charles Shaw. For sure.
Charles Shaw is like head and shoulders above this one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to describe, like, if I were to eat something, I think I would eat gravel or charcoal.
Oh my!
Something to like clean, like rip the skin off my tongue so I could get rid of it.
God.
It's so bad.
So dramatic.
No, but it's not good.
It's not. I don't.
What rating are you going to give it? This could be the lowest rated wine I've ever had.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm giving it like a 1 or a 2. Maybe I'll give it a 2.
Okay.
I'll give it a 2 because I mean, what's the difference?
I don't know.
What would you give it?
2. I think I'm giving it a 1. I think 2 is too generous. I honestly feel like 2 means it's there's something worse than it, and I'm just not sure how there's anything worse than that.
I know. It is really surprisingly not.
I was
good.
ready to give it. We're going to give it a fair shot, but it's unpleasant.
Well, interestingly
it's not
enough,
drinkable.
It is just there's no comparison between that first bottle.
I mean, I'm like longing for the Charles Shaw right now.
Okay, this
I don't know what else to say. It's going down the sink, clearly. Okay, so we're gonna take a break and we're gonna try our last wine.
Okay.
This is easy. Okay. Now let's switch to our top-rated wines for 2024. As I mentioned, we have a lot of sparkling wines in the mix. And I had to make some calls on the lower end of the top 10, as I mentioned before, because we had 12 wines that had an average of an 8 rating. And so I had to choose 6 of those 12 to make the top 10 list. I did make sure that of the wines that averaged a score of 8, I chose wines that received a 9 from one of us. So just to make sure higher rated wines made it. So coming in at number 10, the top 10 rated wine is from episode 118, and it was called Spain's Hidden Gem Priorat. This wine is the Cellars Unio Laurencia Priorat, and it was from the 2020 vintage, and we each gave this wine an 8 for an average score of 8. It's kind of fruity and tart on the front. It's
kind of cinnamony too.
Kind of, but I think it's fruitier than I expected.
It could just tear up your tongue. I'm just laughing about like big red gum because I will put 2 pieces in my
He'll
mouth.
put like 8.
Yeah, and we're just like, and then by like
but then
the 4th or 5th,
3 minutes of chewing.
No, right, and then you spit it out, and you got to have another couple, and then your mouth is like raw. It's so good though.
It's kind of nice. I kind of like it.
I'm kind of digging it.
I'm kind of digging it too. These are not the same kinds of wines. This is not like I was expecting more of that Cabernet, like boom, like kind of taste, and it's really
I don't
not.
Think so. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it has a nice mouthfeel, but it's not. It's a little tart, more tart than, and it doesn't just punch you in the face.
Yeah, no, But it's a very good wine. It's fun to drink. It's enjoyable.
It's interesting. I mean, it's different and
Can you imagine being on a warm Spain day and drinking a little wine?
Our imagination is going to come true.
Little tapas. Our 9th best wine of 2024 came from the very next episode, episode 119, which is one of our Costco episodes, and it's called the Costco Kirkland Signature 2019 Rioja Reserva Challenge. The wine is actually the Kirkland Signature Rioja Reserva from 2019, as the title implies, and we both gave this wine an 8 each, and it's a bargain. It was only $7.99. I will say it has kind of an alcohol-y aftertaste. There's something quite it lingers a little bit and it's got some strength to it, but it's a pretty big wine. I feel like it could breathe fire, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's almost got like a hard alcohol aftertaste. to it.
A little bit. Like you're having a drink, a cocktail.
It does, but it's pretty smooth. It's got a big mouth to it, but it's not as like oaky. What I like about it is not super duper oaky.
Right. It's a little more. Okay, let me ask you this. This is the one they made the sangria with?
Yeah, this is the sangria. Rioja is the sangria base.
Oh,
classic.
Okay, I'm
not
sorry.
Not this particular wine, but
Rioja
in general.
Yeah. Okay.
Why? Why were you going to say?
Because I'm going to say this would be really good as a
sangria base. Yeah.
I really think it would be nice.
Well, this is why it's kind of the classic base.
Okay.
Number 8 on the list of our best rated wines of 2024 comes from episode 105, which was our Italian wine adventure number 10, which was on Fiano. And this wine is the 2020 Claudio Quarta Cantina San Paolo Fiano di Avolina. And it was our only still white wine that made the cut. We also gave this one an 8 each.
Ooh.
It's good. It's
flavorful.
It's got some girth to it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
body.
Right. It's almost it's like definitely like a standalone you can have this just at a cocktail hour. You know, there's a lot going on. And I'm definitely getting, I don't know if it's grapefruit or something on it, like definitely like a tropical fruit of some. I don't know if is grapefruit really? Maybe it's pineapple.
Yeah,
because it's still kind of tangy. It's a little tangy, but so it could be pineapple that I'm tasting too.
Yeah, I think I'm also getting a little bit of like orange rind.
Okay. It's very tasty. So maybe almost like a Sour Patch Kid, where you get a little sweet and a little tang, in the same bite.
Mm-hmm. There's something like there is something lemony, citrusy to it, but maybe there's also something like vanilla-y to it as well or something. But anyway, I would eat, this would be great with this could stand up to a pizza. I feel like this could stand up to a pizza.
I think it actually is a pretty strong wine. Like it can take a lot.
Yeah. So when we say strong, like again, I don't mean strong like, it's strong.
Not,
like,
yeah.
It could stand up. I could see this eggplant Parmigiana for sure.
I think so for sure.
Pizza
cheesy
for sure.
Things for sure.
Cheesy things for sure.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 7 is a Trader Joe's wine from episode 112, which is called How Good Are Trader Joe's Platinum Reserve Wines. This is the Trader Joe's Platinum Reserve Sonoma County Brut. And so this is our first sparkling wine out of many in this group of the top 10. Carmela gave this one a 9, and I gave it a 7 for an average score of 8. And you can also see that Trader Joe's and Costco sometimes are on the top, sometimes are on the bottom. Oh, it's like soda pop. I mean, you could drink this thing.
Ooh.
This is crushable. This one's crushable.
Yeah, this is pretty delicious.
Oh, man.
Wow. It's not like, it is pretty smooth.
It's pretty smooth, but it's not super sophisticated, I don't think. It's just like you could down this. It's nice tasting. Good like party wine. Like
you could drink this by itself on a hot summer day.
Or on a cold winter day like today.
True.
I could just down this. Oh.
And you could almost gulp it. Like when you sip wine, you just have a little sip here and there.
Totally.
You could like double gulp. You could be like, gulp, gulp. You could. Yeah, but it is good.
Yeah, it's good. I'm getting a little pineapple on it. I am getting a little pineapple on it. I'm getting pear juice again, like pear juice. And it's like soda pop. It's like a pear soda pop. It's got like a little touch of bitterness at the end, which I actually like. Our 6th best wine of the year also got a 9 rating from one of us, but this time it was from me, and Carmela gave it the 7. And this was from our first Bordeaux Bargains episode, which was a real eye-opener for me because I was not very inclined to like Bordeaux-style blends, but in this episode, number 115, we really liked the Chateau Preux de Bézac.
It's kind of a wintry or fall wine.
I think so too. It is very much a food wine. To me, it's a food wine because although it's tannic, it also has some good acidity, and it does stick around, but it also is clean. Like it doesn't have this it doesn't
have an aftertaste.
No,
it's not lingering, but it does stick to the tongue, kind of. Yeah.
So actually, I think it'd be an excellent food wine. It's quite good. I know we're not kind of like going crazy with like some of the flavors and tastes. It's a super smooth wine.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
It's kind of, to me, this is kind of elegant. It's kind of warm and round. It's not harsh. It's not hot. It's not sharp. It's a really well-balanced, this is a balanced wine.
Right, I agree. Yeah. And I do think it's one that everybody would like. If you're having a dinner party.
Oh, yeah.
Or, just entertain. You're right. It's more, it's not like overly formal, but it could be a very elegant wine for a dinner party for sure.
I think so too. Okay, now to the top half of the top 10. Number 5 on the list comes from a very recent episode and is one of our 2 rosé wines. This one may come as a surprise, but we really like this wine in our Thanksgiving episode. It's episode 145 from this year and is the 2023 Chateau Saint-Michel Columbia Valley Rosé. Really inexpensive, great price. And by the way, this is not the last wine from this episode either. Carmela gave this wine a 9 and I gave it a 7. And this is also our last wine that has an average score of 8. It's super easy drinking.
It's really nice.
I think it's...
This could be dangerous.
It's dangerous. It's got a little kick of sweet at the beginning, but it ends pretty dry.
Yeah. And I actually, in the taste, I'm getting the watermelon. A little bit.
I agree.
A little bit of that. Something about watermelon does have that sweetness, right? Like there's not really like a tang or sour inside watermelon.
This one has tang,
but I was going to say, but this kind of like it's like the best of both. It's kind of like a watermelon gummy.
Yeah, it is. But I'm also tasting some of those like raspberry kind of flavor. And it is like zippy. It's zippy. It's got a lot of lemony acidity. I think this would be awesome with like mashed potatoes and gravy or like dinner, something pumping. Okay, I said it. I'm going to never live this one down. We have Thanksgiving dinner and you and I are going to start laughing as we watch people pump food into their mouth.
Okay, that's enough of that.
But it's crisp. And sometimes you'll pull white wines out of the fridge a little bit early, like white wines. This is rosé wine. This is really cold. It's nice cold. Our number 4 wine is our most expensive wine. And this one was actually quite a bit out of our price range at $32. However, there was a purpose to it because it came from episode 106, very beginning of the year, which was our episode on wines from Michigan. Something you may not know that they do. They make actually some really good wines in Michigan. This wine got an 8 from me and a 9 from Carmela for an overall score of 8.5. And by the way, there were 2 wines from this episode that got at least an 8 score.
It's so apple juice.
Yeah, it's very good.
Wow, but there is citrus on it too.
Easy to drink.
Yeah, could be dangerous.
This is a very dangerous wine. This is a very easy drinking wine.
They've all been very juicy, these wines.
Juicy, fresh fruit.
Fresh really, fruit yeah. I mean, kind of, it's very much a theme. It's
100%
really
agree.
Yeah, and it's easy drinking.
Oh,
and
this is really
there's
nice.
None of them had like major like aftertaste or any lingering
or hot or this is one of the things that I like.
Very refined, I feel like.
Sometimes these northern climate wineries in the United States or even in Canada, again, they try to make wines that they shouldn't be making and they get kind of hot and they get kind of overwrought. And these are really nice, fruity, juicy, pleasant drinking wines.
They're expensive wines.
They're not cheap.
No, they're more than we normally spend. So
for sure. But these are nice wines. Like Michigan, come on, you did it. You did it, Michigan.
You have arrived.
Wine number 3 for 2024 comes from episode 127, which was our Great American Sparklers episode from the 4th of July, where we traditionally review sparkling wines made in America every year. And this wine got a 9 from me and an 8 from Carmela for an average score of 8.5. It was the Paula Cornell California Brut, and like most sparkling wines, is a non-vintage.
So, you know what? I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I'm tempted to give it an 8.
Oh.
I think I'm going to give it an 8.
I'm tempted to give it a 9.
Ooh, okay.
I think it's quite good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's got a lot of crispiness and crunchiness to it.
I think I'm being hard on
I think you are too. I am actually going to give it a 9. I really like it. I think it's quite a good wine. Like, I find it a little bit not just refreshing, but also sophisticated in a different way than the Decoy. I think this is like a little bit more contemplating kind of wine to it. I think it's really good.
Well, I do think this is absolutely more our style than the other one.
For sure. I think that's part of it too.
And we could drink this from beginning to end on a meal.
Oh, for sure. Okay, there are only 2 wines left, and our penultimate wine, which by the way means second to last, not last, is the 2023 Scaia Rosato from Italy, and also came from episode 145, which was again our Thanksgiving episode on rosé. I also gave this wine a 9, and Carmela gave it an 8. This is a good rosé for somebody who's very skeptical about rosé because it's got body on it. Not a lot, but enough where you're like, there's some girth in this wine. It feels like a little bit more substantial than sometimes a rosé will.
For sure. But it's definitely, and it's a unique flavor. Like it doesn't really fit the formula, I guess, of what these wines or what wines. I mean, it doesn't really lend itself really to a white or a red wine. It's very unique.
It kind of actually is reminding me a little bit of an orange wine because it's got some of that funky flavor in it. I think it's really good.
I think it is too.
I was like, I'm not so sure about this wine. I'm taking a chance here. I think it's very good. Okay. Drum roll, please, now for our number 1 wine of 2024. The only wine this whole year that one of us gave a 10 rating to, and that was me, while Carmela gave it a 9. It's the 2020 Vinzelsep Quilla Cava Brut Organic, hailing from Sant Sadurní de Anoia in Spain, which is a place that we got to visit this year. Well, the city, not this winery, unfortunately. And this wine was only $13.99 and was our only 10 of the year. This was from episode 121 called Spain's Answer to Champagne Cava. And here is the full tasting of that wine. Okay, we are back. And you guys, we paused, we put a little music on. This wine, okay, first of all, the bottle is really cool. It's super cool. Super fun and festive looking, so you can see it when we post it.
Like a party bottle.
The cork would not come out. Oh. It was like they made a killer.
And he's
cork.
got a bad shoulder.
Oh my God, so, Maron
the shoulder. No, and then we had to get a glove, a yellow glove, like, because I wash dishes with gloves, okay? I admit it.
It's hot. She wants that water hot.
Yeah,
like her man.
Right.
Wow. Why is that funny? And then we had to use that. We had to use a yellow glove to get it open.
Sure enough, he did.
It happened.
He popped the cork.
Yep, popped the question. Okay, so this wine is the Vinzelsep Quilla Cava Brut Organic. It's from Sant Sadurní de Anoia in Spain. This actually is a year. It's 2020. It's $13.99, and we got it at Mad Wine, also known as Esquin here in Seattle. It's 12% alcohol, 50% Jarello, 25% Macabo, and 25% Parellada. And Carmela, I'll tell you, I'll just say right off the bat, the smell that I got, you got that nice yeasty kind of toasty smell right off the bat. What else really are you smelling?
Nice. Okay. So it's kind of got a little bit of like pear and like dried apricot.
Totally with you. And I'm smelling that like toasty yeasty, but also that nutty. I'm getting a nutty kind of nut, like an almondy kind of smell.
Like a raw almond. Have you ever had a raw almond?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't like them that much, but I have had them.
But it does kind of taste or smell like that.
And it's citrusy. I can smell citrus on it. Like, I don't know what a quince smells like, but it does smell a little bit like apple and citrus. And there's a little bit maybe of cinnamon on it too, like a little baking
bit of
spice.
And then I'm also thinking of like a white flower.
Ooh, I like that.
I like
it.
I like it. I don't know what the heck that means, a white flower.
No, but a white flower.
Has that little
spring kind of flower.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it. Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
That's really nice.
It is really nice.
Super dry.
It's super dry, which I love. It's not
sweet.
No, it's not sweet, but it doesn't have, it's a little more fresh. It's not
very fresh.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, it doesn't have quite the complexity of smells that we were, like the taste. Yeah, and the taste.
It's because it's so dry.
It's
almost like stone dry. It's super dry.
Kind of like stone. It almost tastes a little bit like a rock.
I agree. But it's really nice. It's got that kind of citrusy apple taste on the front.
Right.
But like totally dry. It would be a great food wine.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
It's this is good. Like I could drink a lot of this, but it's a nice wine.
Yeah, and it is a little pithy. Like there's a little bit of that. in a nice way, like a zest, almost like a lime zest.
This is it's got a little bitterness to it.
Yeah.
They talk about the quince as the bitterness. It does have bitterness on it, which I like.
Yeah.
By the way. It's really good.
Yeah.
This is a really good wine.
It's a great little celebration sparkle to it.
And it's such a pretty, it's like a fun bottle. Super great. It just, work on the cork. Why was it so hard to get the cork out? Anyway.
Oh, you got to work for it.
What food would you pair with this wine?
Well, I'm kind of feeling like this would be great with spicy food.
Oh, so good.
Really good. Like I think anything like an Asian dish. I also think ramen would be good.
Thai food.
Fried food though too. Teriyaki would be good, but like fish and chips. Potato chips.
Fried fish, fried calamari.
Yeah, salty foods.
Fried chicken.
Yeah.
Salty fried. Oh, this is I'm sorry, I'm really digging on it. I think it's very versatile because it's so dry. It's super versatile. This is an excellent wine. As a reminder, we're going to rate this one. As a reminder on a rating scale, I'm kind of biasing the rating here. We rate on a scale of 1 to 10, where 7 and above means that we'd buy it, and a 4 or below means we're likely to pour it down the sink, and a 5 or a 6 means we're going to drink it, but we're probably not going to buy it.
Wait, what was the cost on this one?
$13.99.
I mean, incredible.
It is an amazing deal for such a good wine.
Stock up. This would be an awesome celebration party wine.
Awesome. So what rating are you going to give this one?
I am going to give it, I'm kind of tempted to give it a 9.
Oh, no. I'm tempted to give it a 10.
Wow.
I'm going to start at the 9, but I am tempted to give it a 10.
Okay.
It is a
rock solid wine.
Phenomenal wine.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the best wines I have tried in a long, long time.
Nice.
I love cava, but sometimes I don't find it to be as like, I don't know, sometimes it can lack a little elegance. Sometimes it can be a little bit sweet-ish. This wine is fantastic.
This is hands down, though, what we really like.
We really like it. If you really like a dry wine.
And it's a food-friendly wine that you just are going to enjoy with food.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 9, but I may go up. I reserve the right to change my rating. But we're going to take a break and we're going to try our next wine.
Okay.
And by the way, here's where I changed my rating on the wine to a 10. I really want to go back to the first one and give it a 10.
Really?
I just think it's a great wine.
Well,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Oh my
I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 10. I just loved it.
This is a big day. Big day, people.
All right, so there you go, our top 10 and bottom 10 wines for the year, and we hope you enjoyed this retrospective. It was actually really fun for me to go back and see all the different episodes we did. And, we drank wines from not only over 105 wines, but we drank wines from over 12 different countries. So that was pretty fun. And we also want to just say thank you to our faithful listeners who download and listen to us every week or almost every week. I mean, we honestly do this podcast for you. We love it. We love doing it. We love doing it for you. We love it when you reach out to us and to let us know what you think and ideas you have for episodes. And even when you just share stuff with us, like wines you like, or that you're taking the Somm test or things like that. We love that. Adventures in Wine. We really do want to hear that stuff. We had a great 2024 and we really owe a lot of that to you. And we hope that you'll share us with your family and friends and loved ones and maybe just random people you meet on the street, because that would be kind of fun too. And remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app to give us a nice rating and review, and visit our website to join our newsletter and see the show notes for this episode, where I have posted all of our wines and wine ratings for the year of 2024. And you can always reach out to us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com or DM us on social media. But that's it for 2024. Thank you again. We hope you have a fantastic 2025. And like we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
And the happy ending.